Hey friends, it's me, Carrie. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time here. I am in a hardcore press right now to get subscribers as quickly as possible, thanks to YouTube's lovely new policy of demonetizing all channels with less than 1,000 subscribers starting February 20th, which means the pennies I am earning right now on this channel will go bye-bye thanks to the actions of one ignorant person who ruined it for so many countless thousands of people. That out of the way, and I do implore you, please click subscribe. It would really mean a lot now more than ever. This is a long overdue book review video, and to Lisa Jakub, who is such an extraordinary, wonderful person, an amazing human being, and a Canadian, I deeply apologize. I am so sorry. And that is not a Canadian obligatory, I'm sorry for things that I didn't even do wrong because you guys are so damn polite. This is like a legitimate, I owe you a huge apology. Let me give you guys a little bit of backstory before I get into my review of Lisa's amazing book, Not Just Me, Anxiety, Depression, and Learning to Embrace Your Weird. Okay. I don't recall exactly how Lisa and I became acquainted on Twitter, what it was that caused me to initially click follow on her Twitter feed. I know that Lisa, and you will probably know too the minute you see her or possibly hear her name, that she was a child actor. She started when she was quite young. She continued until her early 20s, I believe, and then she retired from show business and hasn't looked back since. I admire and respect that so much. That's one of the things that I loved about Lisa. But I think the thing that really just sold me on this girl was the fact that she is incredibly open and honest about her struggles with depression and anxiety and panic attacks and all of the shit that comes with those things. And I am that girl as well, because it is not just her, it's me too. I may not have the notoriety Lisa has, or, you know, a fan base, for lack of a better word, or the social media impact or reach that she does. But it's people like Lisa, it's people like my beloved Carrie Fisher, rest in peace. It's people like Patty Duke, Anna, I loved you so much. You were such an inspiration to me, that are in the public eye, that come out about their struggles with mental illness, that encourage little old people like me to share our stories too. And I think that when I first read that Lisa was struggling with that and sharing her struggles was when I said, click, I dig this girl. This is a girl. This is a member of my tribe right here. This is someone that I want to communicate with and get to know. And I think Lisa and I have been Twitter friends. And I hope it's not presumptuous, Lisa, if you're watching this, to say friends, because I feel like you're a friend, even though we haven't met in person, even though we haven't had extensive conversations. I mean, we've had several pretty awesome chats. But to me, I don't give a crap if I meet someone through social media or in line at the grocery store or I went to preschool with them. A friend is a friend is a friend is a friend. And I think that Lisa's a friend. I really think that if we lived in the same state, this would be our deal. We would probably plan to meet for coffee. We would probably cancel about 6 times because one or the other or both of us would be too stressed out to actually leave our homes and meet in public. And then when we finally did get together, we would probably range from anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes of dead silence because we'd both be afraid to be the first person to speak. But I think that once one of us finally did, we would really hit it off. And I just think Lisa's such a cool person. I just really adore her. Her first book was called You Look Like That Girl, and it chronicles her time as an actress and what I find even more interesting and fascinating, her time since being an actress, what she's chosen to do with her life since. It's hilarious, it's heartfelt, it's sincere, it's just so honest, and I respect and admire that so much in people. I'm not doing a full review of that book, but I highly recommend that one as well. Again, it's called You Look Like That Girl. And there's a subtitle, and I don't recall what it is. I apologize. But the book I'm reviewing today is called Lisa Jakub's Not Just Me, Anxiety, Depression, and Learning to Embrace Your Weird. I will say that over and over again because I want you to buy this book. But let me give you a little more backstory. So Lisa and I had been communicating on Twitter for, I think, about 2 years, maybe even 3. I honestly don't recall how long it's been. And I decided to go out on a ginormous limb, like super, super scary stuff, and reach out to Lisa because I loved her first book so much and got such feels and excitement when I found out she was writing a second one that was more anecdotal about her depression and anxiety and features interviews with other people who suffer from different types of mental illness, substance abuse, all kinds of other issues, those taboo topics that a lot of us don't like to talk about, and actually offers practical advice in treating these things. I was like, oof, sign me up, I'm on board, I can't wait to read this book. So I decided to be really, really brave, and I sent Lisa a private message on Twitter, and I asked her, would it be possible at all to get an advanced reader copy of the book, because I definitely wanted to review it for the channel. And I was so scared because I'm like, you know, God, that's a little ballsy, you know. I hope that she doesn't think that, like, we're friends because I want something from her, because that's never what I'm about with anybody ever. I just was really dying to read the book and I couldn't wait. And I wanted it, you know, I don't care how, I want it now, Veruca Salt. And she wrote back to me and said, absolutely. She said, it's not going to be ready for release in terms of pre-release for about another month, but you know, get back in touch with me then and remind me, and I will definitely shoot you over an email copy of the ebook. And I was so stoked, and I was like, you have no idea what this means to me. This was so scary for me to reach out to you like this and ask, and wow, sometimes risk has reward. And she was like, I'm really proud of you that you did it, and I'm happy to do that for you. This was back in July, I think, of last year. This is where the shame and the apology comes in, because we are now at January, what is today? January 19th, I think, of 2018, and I just finished the book last night, and I'm finally getting this review done. And I want to emphasize, it is not for lack of interest. It is not that I didn't adore every page of this book. I actually, this is how, like, ridiculous I am. For a girl who's kind of bright in some ways, I'm a pretty dim bulb when it comes to technology. So what I did was I actually took screenshots of pages of the ebook with passages that I wanted to remember in particular, but I didn't highlight them or anything because I don't know how to do those things. So you'll have to forgive me when I flip through on my iPad to try to find certain passages and, you know, different tips of advice or whatever that were particularly meaningful for me. But that was what I did. What happened was I started the book the minute I got my hot little hands on it. And then life got in the way. And it's the type of book that you can certainly read straight through. I hate to say self-help book because that sounds kind of granola-y, but it is a self-help book, but it's more than that. Like I said, it's anecdotal. It's Lisa sharing her own personal struggles. Again, she interviewed many different people, so it's their stories as well. It's just little side adventures and things that she's gone through and trying to research ways of dealing with depression and anxiety and other forms of mental illness. It's funny, it's touching, it's all of the things that you want in a book, but it's not like just sitting down and reading a novel where you can just mindlessly flip through the pages. Like, everything is thought-provoking, and it requires some concentration. Not that it's not intense, not that you couldn't buy it and read it on the beach if you're someplace warm, or in my case, in your Hello Kitty PJs freezing your butt off in New York in a night, in a single sitting. But life got in the way. I joined a book club. I had a fictional book that I had to read in between. There was just a period of time where I didn't feel like I had the time or the energy even. Like, I couldn't even, like, process reading because my own mental illness was just, you know, I was going through some deep, deep valleys. It's peaks and valleys with mental illness, and I was in some deep valleys, and I just couldn't even concentrate enough to get the book read. And I wanted to give it the attention it deserved. So, very long preamble, very long story short. I finished the book last night. I love it. I recommend it so highly. Let me show you the cover, because how cute is this picture of Lisa? She's just adorable. I mean, is she not cute as a button? And I'm talking about her like she's so young. She's a few years younger than me, and I am 44 years old, so she's more than a few years younger than me. I don't remember exactly how old, but I know she's in her 30s, pretty sure. I'm sorry, Lisa, I don't remember. But she's younger than me. But I mean, we both look younger than we are. So I'm just going to say she's cute as a button because she is. And I mean it in no way to be like, you know, like a diminutive. That I'm probably using that word incorrectly. It's not meant to be like, I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of, but it's not implying that she's not, you know, a full-grown lady and mature and intelligent and a fabulous woman, but she's cute as a button. She just is. And I love that she's got a wrist full of bracelets in the picture, by the way, because that's usually me. I only have 3 on right now, but usually I have at least 6 or 7. That's neither here nor there, but anyway, that's the cover. So again, mentioning the title once again, Not Just Me, Anxiety, Depression, and Learning to Embrace Your Weird, which I love. I love, love, love. Love that title. Love everything about it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to go to my photo section and I'm going to try to read some of the passages that I screenshot because there are several. And I don't want to keep you guys here for endless hours because I don't know how fun that will be for you, but I definitely want you guys to understand how meaningful and terrific this book is and how much I personally got out of it. Okay, let me see if I can find things here. Forgive me while I scroll through. I know I could probably hit pause and that would probably be more useful to you, but let me see if I can find some of the passages that were particularly of importance to me. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Oh, I have my pages all out of order here. Okay. Trying to find these things. Okay, this was one like bit of practical advice. This was on page 204 of 288. I have it open on my iBooks, so I don't know if that's the same as the Kindle version or not. Your paging may be slightly different. But anyway, this was one particular section that I really liked a lot. It says, before bed, jot down 5 things that happened during the day that you are grateful for. I'll be honest, there are going to be days when it's hard to come up with 5. It feels easier to list the top 105 things that make you want to cry. We are so used to focusing on the things we want to change, but flipping that upside down can be powerful. On hard days, my list might look like this. 1. I'm breathing. 2. I'm not in solitary confinement in a high-security women's prison. See, I love her wit. She just cracks me up. 3. I wrote. 4. I did a little bit of yoga today. 5. My husband brought home pizza. This is a totally legit list. Eventually you'll go through your days looking for things to write in your awesome shit journal. If bedtime isn't a feasible time to write, I have a big vase that I keep in my living room. Every once in a while I'll scribble something on a scrap of paper and I'll throw it in there. When I need a boost, I'll look at the scraps. I'm always struck by how minor the things are. I'm grateful that my friend texted me to check in. I'm grateful that the power stayed on in that big snowstorm. I'm grateful that we cuddled on the couch and watched Arrested Development. Writing those little things down helps me to remember to acknowledge them in the moment. I mean, boom, like mind-blowing, right? You would think that these things would be obvious to those of us, especially who are creative and who are writers, but they're not. When you're in the midst of that deep, dark place, I like to sometimes call it the bell jar, the black dog, whatever you want to refer to your depression as. I can't think clearly, and I'm a reasonably intelligent woman, but to have that in black and white in front of me to remind me, you know what, I got up this morning. That's reason enough to be thankful. That's a lot more than a lot of other people are going to get today. Be freaking grateful. Don't always dwell on what you don't have. Focus more on what you do. And I was like, pow, thank you, Lisa, for that reminder, because that was really important. Okay, let me look here for another section that I really liked. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is a section from page 199, and this one addresses more anxiety. We hide our anxiety because we imagine people are pitying our weak, fragile little souls, but it's just the opposite. Every time we're out in public or riding an elevator or making a phone call, whenever we're facing our anxiety, excuse me, I can't read all of a sudden, we are brave as fuck. We're looking straight at the thing that most terrifies us. We're facing down 1,000 clowns with chainsaws every time we accept an invitation to lunch. We're standing alone in the middle of the woods with a serial killer on the loose when we speak up at work. We're swimming in shark-infested waters with a ribeye around our necks when we go to the dentist. So please remember next time you see someone who looks just fine, holding a plate piled with mini quiche and chatting pleasantly with her spouse's boss's sister-in-law, you don't know what it took to get her to that party. You don't know how many nights she spent staring at the ceiling, making mental lists about what she was going to say in this moment. The effort may have been brutal. There is nothing weak about someone who is dealing with anxiety. We are warriors. Again, pow, right? Just brilliant, 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 brilliant. I can't even tell you how useful it is to have these passages in black and white as just mantras and reminders that I can get through stuff. I'm a hell of a lot stronger and braver than I think most of the time. And so are you. And that's the thing about this book. You don't necessarily have to have mental illness. You don't necessarily have to have a formal diagnosis of depression or anxiety, or be an alcoholic, or be a drug addict, or be someone who is dealing with an eating disorder or what have you. Everybody feels anxious sometimes. Everybody feels frightened. Everybody feels insecure. Everybody feels sad. Everybody feels out of control. So there is something in this book that I think literally every human being on the planet can benefit from. So I cannot recommend it highly enough to literally anybody, but especially if you are part of my tribe. Lisa is part of my tribe. Many of you who subscribe to this channel are part of my tribe. Those of us who are the warriors that are fighting these tremendous battles that most that looking at us on the surface would never have any idea are raging in our hearts and our minds. This book is for you. Please, 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 please read it. Okay, I'm not going to go on much longer because I don't want you guys to go away when I'm writing this. But I wanted to read another passage or two. Let's see what I can find here. Let me find it, let me find it, let me find it. Okay, where is it? Sorry, I'm flipping through all kinds of screenshots I have here that are obviously not all from the book. Okay, here we go. This is some training in meditation, which I knew a little bit about because I took a writing workshop for several years. It was 5-week sessions at a time, and I started it, I believe, in 2014. Unfortunately, they're no longer happening, but my professor, Johanna, is also a Reiki practitioner, so she would do one session of our writing workshop each semester, where she would lead us in a guided meditation, and it was for the purposes of free writing and getting stuff off our chests. But I had never just like at home really practiced meditation, and this is really, 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 really useful stuff for the layperson who doesn't know much about it. It's really very effective for many, many people in quelling anxiety and helping them cope when they're struggling. So I want to read this page to you. This is kind of a lengthy passage, so hang on, but okay. Something to try. Metta, in parentheses, loving kindness, meditation, also known as compassion training. When choosing a focus for meditation, like the breath or a candle flame or a specific mantra phrase, we are giving our frenetic monkey mind something to do. It's like we have this hyper little monkey in our heads constantly swinging from one thought to another. FYI, this is page... Oh, I don't have the page number in here, sorry. But anyway, you'll find it when you read the book because you're going to read it, I hope. Let me get back to where I was. That monkey is chattering constantly away, giving his opinion on just about everything. But when we meditate, it's like saying, quote, "Yo, monkey, take this pile of buttons and move them one at a time to this other pile," end quote. We're giving that wacky little monkey a project so he doesn't go wild and throw feces everywhere. Loving kindness is my favorite way to do that. Pretty much everyone agrees that having compassion for people is good, and we can increase compassion for others by having compassion for ourselves. And again, another mind-blown moment, right? Because we can think we are really nice people, but if we're beating the shit out of ourselves for something we said 3 weeks ago, newsflash, we're not actually very nice. This practice strengthens our kindness muscles. Sit to meditate as usual in a comfy position. Again, if you are on the floor, it can be helpful to place a cushion or blanket under your hips to raise them up higher than your knees. Breathe naturally and repeat the phrases out loud or in your head. May I be well. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. Now insert the name of someone you love. And yes, of course, pets count. And you would basically repeat the same mantras with the name of the person you love. Then you could also do it by inserting the name of someone you really don't have any feelings about. Lisa says your mail carrier, for example, or your Uber driver. And then she again lists the mantras. Now insert the name of someone you have a, ellipses, complicated relationship with. Someone with whom things are difficult. The mere mention of this person brings up not so flattering feelings in your heart. And again, repeat the mantra with their name inserted. If that last one stresses you out, make sure you circle back to yourself again, because right now you are the one suffering. And remember, dealing with family is super high-level spiritual work. May I be well. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. The last step is to open up all this loving kindness to the wider world. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings live with ease. I mean, seriously, you've got the blueprint here for a better life for yourself if you read this book and you own it and you have it to flip back to. I may have to go out and buy an actual paper copy so I can jot notes and highlight the portions that I love the best and find most meaningful. Sorry, noisy train. I live by the Long Island Railroad. You guys are used to that by now if you're not brand new to my channel. But there's so much that's impactful in this book for me. And I'm really glad in a way. I'm sorry for Lisa that I didn't get this review posted a lot sooner. But I hope that we'll get her some sales because she deserves them, because this book is truly, truly, truly powerful stuff. But in a way, I'm glad it took me this long because I had to absorb it little bits at a time. And now when I go back and reread it and reread it and reread it repeatedly, which I know that I will be able to kind of know what I'm in for and be able to flip to the sections where I need reminders of how to meditate or how to breathe or ways to self-love or self-soothe or whatever you want to call it. Lisa gives you the framework and the tools, and by sharing her own personal stories, like I said, some funny, some heartbreaking, just all completely honest and so warm and engaging. This book is just a combination of so many things. It's so much more than, like I said, a granola-y self-help book. And I don't mean granola-y in a bad way, but you know what I mean. Sometimes you hear the word self-help and you think, oh, it's that hippy-dippy shit. I don't have any time for that. Well, I happen to be a big fan of hippy-dippy shit. I swear I was born in the wrong decade. It irks me to no end that I was born in 1973 and not at least 1969, so I could say that I lived in the 60s because I feel like I should have. Other than the whole free love doing drugs thing. But like the flower child thing, yeah, for sure. That would have been for me. I love the music. Yeah. I would have done well in the 60s. And hell, if I'd been in 69, I would have been baby, so I wouldn't have had to worry about drugs and free love. But at least I could have that claim to fame to say I lived during that era. But anyway, yeah, this is just truly, in my heart of hearts, a very powerful, meaningful book that I really urge you guys to check out. I think it will help so many of you. I think, honestly, there's not a single human being on the planet that it couldn't help. But I really, really, really implore you to give it a shot because it's worth it. It's worth your time, and you're worth it. You're worth learning how to take care of yourself better and love yourself better and soothe yourself better and protect yourself better, because this world is a crazy fucked up place and we need all of the tools that we can get. I'm a pacifist. Like I said, I'm a flower child. I'm not a fan of arming myself, so to speak, but emotionally, mentally, I want to be armed. I need to be. It's a survival tool for me, and it is for so many other people as well. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. But thank you from the bottom of my heart, Lisa, if you're watching this, for sending me this book, for offering me your friendship, for being the amazing person that you are, for unfortunately living in another state that's not close enough that we could hang out. But maybe someday, because you never know. I'm hoping one of these days when you come to a signing in New York or something, maybe we can work something out. New York City's not that far from the islands. But I really would love to just hug you in person and be able to thank you truly for just being the person that you are, because you're just awesome. And the leap of faith you took in letting this girl with this not that many subscribers YouTube channel have your book in advance to read and review and share my thoughts on is just such an affirmation. And I really deeply from the bottom of my heart, if I can speak, appreciate it. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this. Please go out and buy the book. You can check out Lisa. I believe her handle is just @LisaJacob on Twitter, so you can, check her out on there. But don't monopolize all her attention, because I still want her to be able to talk to me. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. And I really appreciate each and every one of you taking the time out of your day to spend with me. I love you all, and I will be back soon with more stuff. Bye, guys.